All right, guys, hi. Thank you for joining me here today. I'm Dorothy, your professional astrologer. So I want to talk about January for the month, but before I do that, I just want to let you know, if you haven't signed up for my email list, amongst the new people who go to my website, nhastrologer.com, and join my email list for my newsletter, of the new people who do that, I am picking 3 people every month for a 20-minute session free with me. So go to nhastrologer.com and sign up there if you would like to be part of that. And please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I put up lots of videos every single month and you are notified when they are up. So let's get started. I want to talk about, for this month, 3 things, because otherwise these videos just get way too long. So I have 3 things that I've chosen out of the month, and there's always a ton more that I want to talk to you guys about in the general sense. So I'm going to give you that general information right now. And the second piece of each video will be where these things are going on and influencing you for each of your zodiac signs. I also like to pull an oracle card or 2. I might just do that too for each sign for the month of January. All right, so let me get started with what's going on here. So I got my notes in front of me. It's a big whiteboard. See? Talking about being authentic. Very important to be authentic right now. It's always important to be our true selves anyways. This is me. I'm not going to be anybody I'm not. When we live in our own authenticity, we live true to ourselves, you know, the energy, life just flows a whole lot better. And I know that just my own life experience has proven that to myself. So, one of the first things I'm going to talk about, I'll tell you really quick. Mercury retrograde, I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about Jupiter retrograde and as it makes its conjunction to the North Node, the lunar node, on the day it goes retrograde. And then, if I'm not running too long, I'm going to talk about Venus in Sag. Okay, so Mercury. Mercury's retrograde January 7th all the way through January 26th. Now, it starts its retrograde motion in the sign of Aquarius. It will only be at 0 degrees of Aquarius, but it will be at that degree for a whole week. And so we're getting to start off a retrograde. Retrogrades, you know, the day that, especially Mercury or any planet, truly, when they go retrograde, the day that they're retrograde, and even the day that they're direct, they're at a standstill from our perspective here on this planet. And you know, the energy of that just means that what it means is nothing's moving. Nothing will move. It's stopped. It's like us when we're in our car, you know, there's that dead stop before we go the next direction. So Mercury tends to be very free-flowing, great for gathering information. It's very lighthearted, very easy, kind of like the butterfly, because we're describing, you know, Mercury in its natural rulership of Gemini. Now with it in Aquarius, as it goes retrograde, again being in 1 degree for a whole week as opposed to a single day like it usually is, lots of communication issues are just going to go hit a standstill. And whether this means that, whether it's communication and, you know, phones just go bad, computers go haywire for a little bit, or if we look at the other aspect of Mercury, transportation and movement. So wherever you live, there could be some weather. You know, I live in the northern hemisphere, so I'm looking at, you know, probably some bad weather that week, just that will keep us home a little more so we're not moving out and about as much, okay? So don't take this as the end of the world by any means, but there will definitely take this whole week, especially the first week of January, it'll take a little while for us to get rolling on what this Mercury energy is really wanting to produce. It's not going to produce much in Aquarius. What it will do when it moves into the sign of Capricorn, somewhere around the 10th, once it moves into the sign of Capricorn, like 29 degrees, 28, it's backing all the way up to 14 degrees of Capricorn, which is where those cardinal planets have been, you know, right around 13, 14, 15 degrees for months and years on end, right? And that tells me that we got some more cardinal cross, cardinal T-square things happening, and this is the case. So later in the month, this will take a little while, but on January 20th, Mercury makes a square aspect to Uranus, and then on the 22nd and the 30th, it conjuncts Pluto. Now, it conjuncts Pluto as a retrograde planet on the 22nd and as a direct planet on the 30th. So what do these two things mean? And I'm going to get to where it is for each of the signs in just a second, so hang on. With Mercury making a square aspect to Uranus, this is communication, especially as a retrograde planet. You know, there's just going to be, we're going to be getting weird emails, we're going to be getting weird messages, we're going to be getting stuff that is just through the roof, very different. Now, Aquarius and Uranus rules Aquarius. Since Mercury started its retrograde in that sign, and the planet that is the ruler of gets an aspect from Mercury, you know, we're going to, you know, we feel like we need to move and we need to do something. This could be a pretty tricky retrograde this time around. If you have electronics, this is one of the times, because Aquarius rules those things. I would recommend before we go retrograde, so you're going to hear this ahead of time because I have it up in December. For those of you lucky enough to see it ahead of time, definitely back up your electronics. And keep an eye on them, you know, fix things, renew things, do what you need to do to keep things in alignment and up to date. And that's really important. And that's that Mercury square Uranus, all right, January 20th. And we're going to feel that a few days on either side of that date, okay? And that's the day that the sun enters Aquarius as well. So I'm telling you, it's going to be an interesting day on January 20th. There's just going to be a lot of rocking and rolling going on. And I'll be there to see it too. We'll let each of us know how that happens. Fill me in when you get a chance, if you like. Then on the 22nd and on the 30th, when Mercury does make this conjunction to Pluto, you know, whatever we were doing that went through a major shakeup or just, you know, amazing news. I mean, this can even be amazing news. Don't take shakeups as something that's negative all the time, you know, with that Uranus energy. On the 22nd, when it does conjunct Pluto, there could be a very deep transformation. It's like, okay, so I have this new information. What do I do with it now? All right, what do I do with it now? And this is how we look at it. And on the 22nd, all the way through the 30th, Mercury will just be in conjunction with Pluto that whole time, within a few degrees either side. And so we are changing and transforming how we see things and how we feel about something and how we're presenting that out in our immediate environment. Because Mercury is in charge of the immediate environment as well as the communication piece that everybody speaks about. So if you don't know enough about Mercury, go search it out and you'll get lots of good information about that. So next step is what is going on in what house. So, and the houses will be representative of your zodiac sign. So that is next. Okay, so let me mention this real quick too, because I've been talking about the retrograde of Mercury on between the 1st and the 7th in Aquarius, but the day it actually goes retrograde is January 5th. I just wanted to make that clear because I don't think it was clear in the beginning part that I was just talking to you about. So Taurus, let me move on. For you, all of this energy goes on in your solar 9th house. So everything I've just mentioned with Mercury in Aquarius, well, the Aquarius piece is separate, but Mercury in Capricorn and the connections it's making throughout the month, all of this is representative of where you want to learn more, where you want to expand your knowledge, expand your awareness. And even for some of you, it is about teaching, whether you are a teacher and you're needing to make new lesson plans, or you're learning something and you're working on really studying hard and trying to absorb information. So for you, Taurus, all of that Capricorn energy and all the retrograde of Mercury is going on in that solar 9th house for you. Keep that in mind with everything else that I just said. Now, we also have Jupiter. And it is going retrograde on January 7th. And when it goes retrograde, it will be at the 23rd degree of Virgo. And that is also where the lunar north node is. All right, the north node represents a life path, but as a transiting point in the zodiac, you know, through the zodiac, you know, we have opportunities here to really move and shift ourselves into something new with just the current energy that's flowing. This is, you know, global energy that's flowing. And with that north node at that position, that's where the eclipse was in September, mid-September. So I want you to think back. This is a sensitive point in the zodiac for about a year even. And so with Jupiter retrograde at 23 Virgo, and it conjunct that North Node at 23 Virgo, where that eclipse was in September, I mean, we have these opportunities to really be very inspirational, very much inspired, looking at the bigger picture. This is going on in your solar 5th house, so that is representative of where we're creative, our children, you know, what is important for us in regards to, you know, how we express ourselves and what we're very passionate about, that 5th house energy. So there's a lot going on here for you guys, especially you with Taurus rising. And so looking at that bigger picture and what steps are we taking now that's going to change our life path? No matter where your North Node is, it resides when you were born. The global one, the one that's really out there and energizing all of us and helping us to take steps into, you know, the right step into a new path if this is what you're choosing to do. So Virgo to me also represents my North Node. This is all on my North Node. My North Node is 20 degrees of Virgo. And so, you know, where that eclipse was and where all this energy is really close to. So Jupiter and the North Node are going to be traveling together all the way through like June. And so these right now with this retrograde is just the highlighting the point that we have an amazing amount of opportunities to change our life path, especially if we want to go in a new direction. Or even if your life is going really well, this is an opportunity to step it up. Take classes, learn things new, really step it up in what feels comfortable for you. Next, the last thing I want to talk about, even though there's a ton of stuff going on, and anytime you want, you know how to reach me, nhastrologer.com. You go there and ask for a session. There's stuff's all over the place. You can get your own private session so we can focus exactly on what it is that you need. All right? The final thing I want to talk about is Venus and Sagittarius. Venus is love and what we value and our love relationships. It's in Sag. We could spend too much money. Might be an opportunity now where we're paying for the bills. Paying the bills for all the big things that we bought for the holidays. Or we can be in a relationship or just starting a new one, or in one that you need some fun, some adventure, or it feels fun and adventurous. Now, in the month of January, it does make a conjunction to Saturn. I'm not going to tell you what day that is because I don't want you to focus on that day. But when Venus and Saturn do make a conjunction, we become a little more serious. We might feel a little shy, but we might feel that we need to step out of some fear and commit in a relationship and not be fearful to commit. See what I'm saying? So I don't want you to focus in exactly on the day, but I want you to know that this is fun, adventurous, it's a very learning experience, but we can also take that learning and become very serious, very committed, and move forward out of fear if there is something that is making you feel fearful. All right? This is a great opportunity to move through. And that goes on in your solar 8th house. And while it's in that solar 8th house, what that represents is transformation. So you are Taurus rising in this big transformative period right now. Okay? All right. So now I want to pick two cards for you. I picked them, but I haven't looked at them yet. So let me see what we got here. We have the first card that came up is the 7, and it's about choosing wisely. You can see this is John Holland's deck. It's a great deck. It's a great oracle deck. I love using oracle cards, even though astrology is my #1 thing. Choosing wisely, so that means you do have some choices to make this month. If you have, especially if you're a Taurus or if you have Taurus rising, the thing is you usually stick to one idea and you don't change your mind too often. So maybe there's an opportunity here to make a choice, because choosing wisely does mean that we have many things to choose from. And the next one is spiritual strength, and that is something that I can see working out really well with that Jupiter conjunct the North Node in that 5th house. So for you guys, take the opportunities to learn something new, to kind of shore up your spiritual growth and the things that are very important for you at this point in January, for the whole month of January. So take that and use that in the way that you feel best. All right? Very good. So come to my website. I teach all kinds of classes online. I even have a private mentorship program that's going on. So if you want to know about that, you email me. right through my website. Very simple, nhastrologer.com. Please share, please subscribe. That's good. All right. Blessings. Lots of love.